The prison ship, Black Mercy, floated in orbit above a planet no one wanted to visit. The planet's name was Xeron-9, a place known across the galaxy by a single, cursed title, the Deathworld. No species had survived there for more than 2 hours. Acid storms, deadly animals, burning ground, and invisible creatures made it the most dangerous place known. The Galactic Union had marked it as uninhabitable forever. But today, 10 prisoners were going there. They were all human. Inside the ship, the prisoners sat in silence, strapped into metal chairs. Each one wore the same gray suit, marked only by a number on the chest. No weapons, no supplies. Just a thin suit and a black box on their arm, supposedly to track their vitals. Or maybe to kill them remotely. A voice came through the intercom, cold and robotic. "Attention. You have been chosen for planetary testing. You will be dropped on Xeron-9. No rescue is planned. Survival is not expected. You may begin prayers. If your species has any." The humans didn't speak. Some looked afraid. Others were angry. One of them, number 3, a tall man with sharp eyes, just smiled. The guards, tall insect-like aliens called Vicari, entered the room. One of them looked at the humans and clipped its jaws in disgust. "Soft meat," it said. "They'll be dead in minutes." The others laughed. The doors opened. A deep hum filled the ship as the drop pods prepared. One by one, the prisoners were pushed inside metal capsules. They were alone. They couldn't see each other. They couldn't move. Only the heartbeat monitor in the pod told them they were still alive. And then the drop began. The ship opened like a metal flower, and 10 pods shot toward the planet like bullets. Fire surrounded them as they entered the thick atmosphere of Xeron-9. Outside, clouds boiled. Lightning tore across the sky in green and red. Below them, the surface-twisted mountains moved, trees breathed, and rivers hissed like snakes. The pods slammed into the ground. 1, then 2. Then all 10 minutes later, pod 3 cracked open. Number 3 climbed out, coughing. His name was Rick Mallon, former soldier, now convicted for killing his commanding officer. His crime? Refusing to kill civilians during a raid. Rick stood up. The air smelled like burning metal. His skin itched. The sky was dark red, and strange clouds floated low to the ground. Something screeched in the distance. He looked around. 5 of the other pods had landed nearby. One of them was already open. A woman stepped out. Thin, young, with wild curly hair. She looked around, then spotted Rick. She walked over. "I'm Alira," she said simply. "What's this place smell like to you?" Rick sniffed the air again. "Rotting metal and blood." She nodded. "Thought so." Another pod hissed. Then another. Soon, 7 humans were out. 2 were still sealed. One pod was cracked open, blood dripping from the edge. Something had broken inside. That prisoner was already dead. And the 10th pod was missing. The group stood in silence. Suddenly, the ground shook. Not like an earthquake. This was alive. Something massive was moving underground. Rick looked toward a hill. "We need high ground, now." But before anyone could move, the air screamed. A giant shape burst out of the trees. It had 6 legs, a wide, flat head with glowing eyes, and a mouth full of spinning teeth. The monster charged straight at them. One of the prisoners froze. Another screamed. Rick grabbed a rock and threw it hard, hit the creature in one of its eyes. It slowed, turned toward him. "Run!" Rick shouted. The group scattered. The creature lunged, caught one man, and bit him in half. Blood sprayed across the burning grass. Alira grabbed a sharp piece of metal from her pod and stabbed at the monster's leg. It roared and knocked her aside like a doll. Rick charged. He didn't think. He just acted. He grabbed the metal piece from Alira and jammed it deep into the monster's neck. It screamed again, twisting, shaking, trying to throw him off. But Rick held on. He climbed up the monster's back, grabbed a bone spike sticking from its shoulder, pulled it out, and drove it through the monster's eye. With a final scream, the creature collapsed. Silence returned. The survivors looked at Rick, breathing hard. He dropped the bloody bone. Now we know what we're dealing with. Hours later, they made a small camp near a cracked rock wall. It wasn't shelter, but it gave cover from the wind. 3 were dead. 7 remained: Rick, Alira, a short man named Graf, a silent woman who hadn't spoken yet, 2 brothers from Earth's Mars colonies, and a teenage boy named Toma who had stolen food to feed his family. The boy was crying. "We're going to die here," he whispered. "Why send us? What did we do?" Alira sat beside him. "They wanted someone to test the planet, but they didn't want to risk their own kind, so they sent us." "Like rats," Rick said. "No," Graf replied. "Worse, rats get cages." "We get this hell." Lightning cracked. The sky turned black again. The ground began to steam. A rainstorm started, but the drops were green. One hit a nearby rock. It sizzled and burned a hole through it. "Acid rain. Cover your skin." Rick shouted. They used parts of the pods and broken metal to shield themselves. The rain lasted only 5 minutes, but it was enough to melt the top layer of the ground. Even the plants hissed. Rick looked at his arm. The tracking box blinked red. Someone was watching on the Galactic Union ship orbiting above. Commander Trell, a high-ranking member of the Union Council, stood before a large screen. A Vakari technician pointed at the red blinking dots. 3 dead. 7 remain. 1 has already killed a Class 5 predator. "This is unexpected." Trell narrowed his eyes. "These are humans. Their history shows violent adaptability. Why weren't they executed instead?" The technician shrugged. "Some thought they'd be useful for experiments. Disposable but useful." Trell turned away. "If they survive more than 2 days, send a kill team." Day 2. The humans walked deeper into the forest. The trees had eyes, actual blinking yellow orbs that followed them. Small flying creatures buzzed near their heads and exploded when swatted. One burned a hole through Graf's shoulder. He didn't scream. He just stared at it. "They're not attacking all the time now," Rick noted. "Why?" "The planet's watching," Alira said. "What does that mean?" "I don't know," she whispered, "but I feel it. Like something out there is learning." That night, they made another camp inside a dead tree's hollow trunk. It smelled awful, but it was safe. Rick stood watch. Then he saw it. A figure, walking toward them. An animal. Not a monster. A man. Human. The missing 10th prisoner. But something was wrong. He walked strangely. His eyes glowed faintly. His skin had strange black lines. Rick raised his weapon. "Stop right there." The man stopped. "I made it," he said in a calm voice. "The planet showed me how." "What?" "I was broken, dying. Then something entered my mind. It healed me." Alira stepped forward. "What healed you?" The man smiled. "Xeron 9. Then he collapsed. The twist begins when they checked him. He was alive. But his blood had changed darker, thicker. His skin healed twice as fast." He whispered in his sleep. "We are not alone. The planet is watching. It needs us." Ending scene. Cliffhanger. Rick walked outside and looked at the horizon. More monsters waited, but he felt no fear now. They had killed one already, survived acid rain. Watched a man come back from death. Thought this was not the end, that it was only the beginning. He looked back at the others and said, "They sent us here to die. We'll make them regret that." The sun rose slowly over Xeron 9, but the light brought no comfort. The sky was dark red, full of moving shadows and clouds that didn't act like clouds. The trees moved when no wind blew. The ground pulsed like it had a heartbeat. Rick stood beside a rock, staring at the man they had rescued, the 10th prisoner. His name was Kale. He had been missing for nearly 24 hours. The others thought he was dead. But now he was here alive and different. Elira touched Kale's forehead. It was hot, but not like a fever. His skin was almost glowing under the surface, as if something inside him was burning quietly. He's still breathing, she said, but it's not normal. Rick nodded. Nothing on this planet is. Kale suddenly opened his eyes. Everyone jumped. His eyes were silver now. Not the color they used to be. They looked like liquid metal. For a moment he just stared at the sky, then slowly turned his head toward Rick. I heard its voice, Kale said quietly. The planet. What do you mean? Rick asked. It speaks, not with words. With feelings, thoughts, pictures in my head. It showed me where to hide. It showed me what to eat. It helped me. The others looked at each other nervously. Toma, the young boy, whispered. Is he crazy? Kale smiled. Not crazy. Changed. Later that day, the group moved from the dead tree to a rocky cave not far from a stream. The water was thick and green, but when Elira dipped her hand in it, it didn't burn. Graf took a small sip and nothing happened. It was safe. Somehow they started collecting food. Strange black fruits and insect-like creatures that ran on 8 legs. And that's when it started. The changes. Change 1. Healing Graf was cutting branches when he slipped and sliced his hand. Open with a jagged rock. The cut was deep. Blood poured out. Elira rushed to help him, using part of her suit to stop the bleeding. But the bleeding stopped. On its own, they all watched in silence as the cut began to close. Skin pulled itself together, red fading into pink, until nothing was left but a scar. I've never healed that fast, Graf said, eyes wide. Elira turned to Rick. You think this is what happened to Kale? Rick didn't answer. He was thinking. Change. 2. Strength. That evening, Toma was moving rocks to block the cave entrance when one large stone rolled toward him. It was huge, too big for a boy his size, but somehow he stopped it. He caught it with both hands and pushed it back like it weighed nothing. Everyone stared. Toma looked at his hands. I didn't mean to. You're stronger, Rick said. No, Kale whispered from the corner. You're becoming. The planet watches that night. The sky lit up with strange green lights. No stars, no moon. Just flashes and dancing colors. The group couldn't sleep. Rick stayed up, watching the horizon. Every so often, he saw movement, huge shapes, maybe other creatures walking through the forests. He also noticed the silence. No insects. No birds. Nothing made a sound. It was like the whole world was listening. The test and the 4th day. Another creature attacked. It came at sunset. A long snake-like monster with 6 legs and a face like a hammer. It moved fast, breaking trees as it charged toward the cave. But this time, the humans were ready. Graf jumped onto a rock and shouted. The creature turned toward him, and Rick hit it from behind with a sharpened branch. Elira stabbed it in the leg. Toma climbed a tree and threw a heavy stone from above. Kale stood still, watching. He raised his hand and the creature's skin suddenly started to burn. No one touched it, but steam rose from its back like it was being boiled from the inside. The beast roared, then fell over dead. The group stood in silence, breathing hard. Then Rick looked at Kale. What did you do? I felt heat, Kale said, and I sent it into the creature. It listened. You controlled heat? Elira asked. Kale nodded. Rick stepped back. This is not normal. No, Kale agreed. It's evolution. The planet is speeding it up, pushing us to survive, or become something more. The alien reaction above the planet, on the galactic ship Varan's Claw. Alarms were ringing. Commander Trell stood before a screen showing the human survivors. They killed a Class 7 crawler with sticks and rocks? Trell asked, shocked. No. The technician said, they boiled it from the inside. One of them used no weapon at all. Another alien entered the room, a tall being in golden armor. "This must be stopped," it said. "No species evolves that fast. Not unless something is helping them." Trell narrowed his eyes. "The planet itself may be aiding them. Send in a scout drone, full stealth. If they continue to grow stronger, we must destroy them before they leave." Trust issues back in the cave. Tensions were rising. Some of the humans were afraid of Kale. Others were afraid of themselves. Alira found she could see in the dark now. Graf's skin was becoming tougher. Toma could climb like a spider. One of the brothers said he hadn't eaten in 2 days and still felt full. "What's happening to us?" Toma asked Rick. "I don't know," Rick replied honestly. "But we need to stay human. Whatever's changing us, we don't lose who we are." Kale laughed softly. "Why stay human? Humans are weak. That's why they threw us here. You think becoming something else is better?" Rick said, stepping forward. "I think we're finally becoming what we were meant to be." They stared at each other for a long time. Alira stepped between them. "No fights, not now, not yet." The drone that night, while everyone slept, a small black object flew over the trees. It was silent. Fast and full of cameras. It scanned the humans. Measured heat. Collected samples. Kale woke up suddenly. His silver eyes flicked toward the sky. Without a word, he grabbed a stone and threw it high into the air, straight into the drone. A spark exploded. The drone crashed. Rick ran outside with the others. "What was that?" "Someone's watching us," Kale said. Graf picked up part of the drone. "Galactic tech." "They sent us here to die," Rick said. "Now they want to make sure we don't come back." The message Kale dug into the drone's broken body. He found a data crystal. Alien tech used to store information. Rick knew how to read it. He had worked in a galactic outpost once. Years ago. He connected it to a panel inside his tracking box. The message was clear. Subject: human prisoners. Observation status: dangerous mutation detected. Orders: terminate all survivors. Planet: Xeron 9 must be sterilized. Full orbital strike authorized. Alira gasped. "They're going to bomb the whole planet." "They're scared of us," Rick said. "Good," Kale replied. The decision. Rick stood before the group. The firelight flickered over their changed faces. Some had glowing skin. Others had sharp eyes or tougher bones. "We have 2 choices," he said. "Stay here and die when the strike comes. Or fight back." "How?" Toma asked. "There's still one Union ship in orbit," Rick said. "We take it. We show the galaxy what they did. We tell the truth." "We can't fly a ship," Graf said. "We're not normal anymore," Alira said. "Maybe we don't need to." Kale smiled. "I've already seen it. The planet showed me where it lands. A cargo shuttle comes every 10 days to drop off supplies for research stations on the other side of the mountains." Rick looked at the sky. "Then we climb those mountains." Ending scene. Cliffhanger. At dawn, the humans walked toward the distant peaks. The ground no longer hurt them. The air felt lighter, and something in the forest stepped aside as they passed. Rick looked back one last time. "They sent us here to die," he said. "But we're still standing, and we're changing." Toma smiled. "What are we now?" No one answered, because the truth was simple. They didn't know yet, but the galaxy would soon find out. The mountains of Xeron 9 were tall, black, and sharp like broken glass. The air was thin. The wind was cold and fast, howling through narrow paths like a voice calling out warnings. But the humans kept climbing. They had changed, no longer weak, no longer afraid. Rick led the group. His muscles moved like metal cables under his skin. He no longer got tired. Behind him, Alira climbed like she was born for it. Her fingers stuck to the rocks like glue. Her balance was perfect, even on steep edges. Graf, the quiet one, walked last. His eyes could now see far away. He spotted danger before it came close. He was their lookout, The group didn't speak much. Every hour, the mountain tested them. A sudden storm hit. The sky cracked open. Ice and fire fell together. But they didn't turn back. A giant creature made of stone tried to crush them. Rick stabbed it in the neck. Its blood was hot and golden. They moved forward. The Deathworld wasn't just trying to kill them anymore. It was training them. Day 7. The trial of fire on the 7th day. They reached a valley of red mist. The rocks were warm, and the ground hissed under their boots. "This place isn't right," Toma said, holding his nose. "It smells like poison." "It is," Kale replied. "This is where the planet burns weakness." "What does that mean?" Graf asked. "You'll see," Kale said, then stepped forward. Suddenly, flames burst from the ground, forming a wall of fire across the path. The group jumped back. The fire didn't spread. It stayed still, waiting. "It's not real fire," Kale said. "It's a test." Rick walked forward. The flames rose higher. "I'm not playing with fire," he said. "Then you'll never leave." "The mountain," Kale replied. "The planet wants to see if we fear pain." Rick paused, then stepped through. The fire touched his body, but didn't burn. It felt like heat, like light, like memory. He saw his worst moments, his crimes, his regrets, but he didn't stop. He kept walking. And then the flames vanished. The others followed. Each one walked through fire. Each one saw their darkest thoughts, but came out stronger. Only Toma hesitated. He stood in front of the wall, shaking. Illyra put a hand on his shoulder. "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try." Toma took a deep breath and walked in. He screamed, but didn't stop. When he came out, his eyes were glowing with green light. "I saw everything," he said. "My mother, my sister, they were crying. I couldn't help them." "You can now," Rick said. "Let's move." Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Trull was furious. The drone was destroyed. "The humans are moving toward the supply zone. They plan to steal a ship." "Impossible," said a Vakari officer. "They have no weapons." "They don't need them anymore," Trull said. "They are weapons." The Union Council sent a message. "If the humans reach the shuttle, eliminate them. No survivors." Trull gave the order, "Send the kill team." Day 9. The silent city beyond the mountains. The humans found something unexpected. A dead city. Buildings made of smooth gray stone, half covered in black moss. No doors, no signs of life. But the ground was warm, and the air felt strange. "This doesn't look human," Graf said. "It's not," Kale replied. "This city belonged to the ones who came before, the ones who tried to live here and failed." "Aliens?" Toma asked. "No," Kale said. "Something older." They entered one of the buildings. Inside was a round room, covered in symbols that glowed faintly when they stepped close. Rick touched a wall. A picture flashed into his mind, creatures of light, walking like shadows across a burning sky. Then screams, explosions, silence. "What was that?" he asked. "The last species the planet tried to change," Kale said. "They didn't survive the process." "But we are," Illyra whispered. "Yes," Kale said. "We are the first." They found a small chamber below the city. Inside was a pool of black water. Kale walked in and disappeared under the surface. Rick moved to follow, but Illyra stopped him. "Wait." After 2 minutes, Kale came out, smiling. "My skin is stronger now," he said. "It's part of the city's gift. Who wants to try?" One by one, the group entered the pool. When they came out, their bodies felt different. Not just stronger, smarter. The planet was no longer fighting them. It was shaping them. The kill team arrives while the humans explored the city. A black ship landed quietly on the far side of the valley. 6 alien soldiers stepped out. They wore black armor and carried plasma blades. Their leader was a female Dragzin warrior named Commander Zherna, known for hunting dangerous life forms. She looked at the map. The humans are 1 hour from the shuttle landing zone. We intercept and kill them before they reach it. One of her men spoke. They may be mutated. She smiled. So are we. Day 10. The ambush at dawn. The humans reached the final hill. Below it was a wide flat field, and in the middle stood the shuttle. It lands every 10 days, Kale said. Right on time. Rick nodded. We move fast. We get in, take control. And leave. No mistakes. Alira added. They started moving down the slope. Then something moved in the grass dock too late. The kill team. Struck like lightning. Plasma blades sliced through the air. The humans scattered. One of the brothers was hit in the leg, fell screaming. Rick turned and slammed into the attacker, punching through armor like it was soft metal. Toma jumped on a soldier's back and pulled his helmet off, revealing blue skin and 4 eyes. The alien screamed and Toma's hands glowed. The skin burned. Alira fought with sharp claws she had grown. She slashed across a soldier's chest, leaving deep wounds. Graf took a blade to the arm, but barely felt it. His bones had become hard like stone. Rick charged at Commander Zherna. They clashed. She moved fast, but he moved faster. You're not human, she hissed. Not anymore, he growled. He punched her in the chest, breaking her armor. She dropped to her knees. You were supposed to die here, she gasped. We did, Rick said, and something else took our place. He raised a stone spear and ended it. Victory. But not peace after the fight. The field was silent again. Group stood in front of the shuttle. Smoke rose in the distance. Blood stained the ground. Toma looked around. We won. No, Rick said. We survived. Kale walked to the shuttle and placed his hand on the control panel. It lit up. It's still locked, Rick said. Not for long, Kale replied. His eyes glowed. The panel melted under his hand, and the door opened. The inside was clean, cold, and full of tech. Ira walked in slowly. Feels like a dream. It's real, Rick said. We're going home. Earth? Toma asked. No, Kale said. To the Union, to the ones who did this. Ending scene, cliffhanger, as the shuttle rose into the sky. The mountains of Xeron 9 faded below. But inside Rick's chest, something stirred. Not fear. Something deeper. The change wasn't done. He looked at his hands. Were they still human? He wasn't sure, but he was sure of one thing. We survived the Deathworld. Now the galaxy will face what we became. The shuttle flew through Xeron 9's sky like a silver arrow, breaking through clouds that twisted and growled. The planet didn't stop them. No lightning, no storms, no monsters. It was almost peaceful. Rick sat near the front window, his hands resting on the controls. He wasn't a pilot, but somehow he understood everything. Like the machine was speaking to him without words. Systems online, Kale said behind him. Engines are strong. Power at 87%. How far can it go? Graf asked. It can reach the Union's outer zones. Maybe even Earth, Kale replied. Are we going back to Earth? Toma asked hopefully. Rick didn't answer. He stared at the stars ahead. We're going where the truth needs to be heard. Memories of Deathworld. As the shuttle climbed higher, the group sat in silence. No one spoke of what they had become. Not yet. Alira sat beside Rick. Do you feel it too? She asked quietly. What? The change inside us. Not just our bodies. Our minds. I dream things now. I see flashes, places I've never been. Thoughts that aren't mine. Rick nodded slowly. I feel stronger, smarter, but also colder, like my old self is disappearing. Alira looked down at her hands. Her fingers now had small black patterns, marks from the Deathworld. I don't want to forget who I was, she whispered. You won't, Rick said, as long as we remember why we're fighting. Above them, far above the shuttle, floating in high orbit, was the massive Union battleship Vernax. Inside, Commander Trell watched the human shuttle rising fast. They survived the kill team, he said in disbelief. And now they're coming to us. Red alarm blinked. Incoming transmission. Unknown signal. Trell frowned. From the humans? No, the technician said. From an old probe. Sent years ago to Xeron 9. It's sending a warning now. The message was short. Do not touch the humans. They are not what you think. They are becoming what we once feared. Trell felt his skin grow cold. What have we done? On the shuttle, the Tapu group found a message panel on the side of the ship. It played a video. A Vakari scientist appeared on screen, speaking in a cold voice. Project Phoenix. Status. Active. Human prisoners released on Deathworld Xeron 9. Goal. Force adaptation. Through extreme survival. Expected result. Death or transformation. Data will be collected. Subjects disposable. The screen flickered. A second video started. This time, a Union official spoke directly to the camera. If humans survive the Deathworld, they will be erased. No records, no mercy. They must not return. Thomas stared at the screen. They planned all this. They threw us into hell just to study us. They treated us like animals, Graf said. No, Rick said. Worse, like weapons they wanted to test. The debate inside the shuttle, the survivors argued. We should go back to Earth, Alira said. Tell the people what the Union did. They won't believe us, Graf replied. They'll call us mutants, monsters, so what do we do? Toma asked. Hide forever? No, Kale said. We show them we're still human and stronger than before. Rick stood up. We go to the Union Council. Their capital. Their center of power. We land in front of their eyes. And we speak the truth. Let them try to kill us again. This time we'll be ready. The group fell silent. Then one by one, they nodded out the arrival 2 days later. The shuttle dropped out of light speed. Before them floated the Union Central Station. Citadel Prime, a ring-shaped space city the size of a moon. Thousands of ships circled it. Lasers tracked every visitor. No one got close without permission. As the shuttle approached, alarms sounded across the Citadel. Unregistered ship approaching. It's from Xeron 9. Prepare defense systems. Inside the shuttle, the humans stood calmly. No turning back now, Rick said. Kale pressed a button. A signal burst from the shuttle, coded and loud. It was the truth. A full recording of everything. The experiment, the kill order, the mutations, the crimes. It spread like wildfire into Union networks. Now they couldn't hide it. The standoff as the shuttle got closer. Union fighter ships surrounded them. A voice called out on the radio. You are trespassing. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Rick picked up the mic. We are survivors of your secret experiment. We have proof of your crimes. If you fire, the whole galaxy will know. There was silence. Then a new voice answered. It was calm, old, and sharp. This is Counselor Raylan of the Union. You may land, but step carefully. You are not among friends. Landing. On Citadel Prime, humans stepped out of the shuttle and onto the shining surface of the landing platform. Crowds gathered. Hundreds of aliens stared at them, curious, afraid, angry. Cameras floated around them. The humans walked forward, calm and strong. Their bodies still looked human, but not fully. Graf's eyes glowed softly. Alira's steps made no sound. Kale's skin shimmered like armor. Rick led them with quiet power. As they entered the council hall, guards raised their weapons. Stand down, ordered Counselor Rowland. Let them speak. The truth inside the chamber. The humans stood before the leaders of 50 alien species. Screens lit up with images from Xeron-9. Toma, single quotes, S voice played. His cries as he begged not to die. Rick's battle with the beast. Kale walking out of the fire. Alira helping a wounded Graf survive acid rain. And finally, the message from the Union ordering their deaths. Gasps filled the room. One counselor shouted, "Who approved this?" Another said, "This is against every law of the Union." Counselor Raylan raised his hand. "The question is not what happened," he said coldly. "The question is, what are these humans now?" He turned to Rick. "Answer carefully." "What are you?" Rick's answer. Rick looked around the room. He saw fear, distrust, anger, but also something else. Respect. Double quotes. "We were humans," he said. "And you treated us like garbage. You thought we were weak, disposable. But the Deathworld didn't kill us. It changed us. We are not your enemy. We don't want war. We want truth, justice, a chance to protect others from what you did to us." A moment of silence followed. Then someone clapped. A slow, single clap from Counselor Raylan. "Well said," he said. "But I don't believe you." The trap suddenly, a gas filled the hall. Guards dropped. Civilians screamed. Rick turned fast, but it was too late. A dart hit his neck. He pulled it out and stayed standing. Everyone else was coughing. But not the humans. They didn't fall. Counselor Raylan stepped forward. "I had to see it myself," he said. "You're not just changed. You're immune to gas, to poison, to fear," he smiled. "And that makes you the most dangerous thing in the galaxy." Ending scene, cliffhanger. Dozens of metal walls dropped down around the hall, sealing it. Rick, Alira, Kale, Graf, and Toma stood together. Surrounded. Lasers aimed at them. Raylan gave the final order. "Capture them, or kill them." Rick's eyes turned black with fire. "Let's show them what Deathworld survivors can do. Capture them, or kill them." Those were the last words spoken by Counselor Raylan before the gas flooded the Union Hall. But the humans did not fall. They did not cough. They stood still, calm, focused, dangerous. The guards inside the chamber looked nervous. Their hands shook as they raised their weapons. Illyra glanced around and whispered, "They're scared of us." "They should be," Kale said softly, his eyes glowing silver. Then Rick stepped forward. And all hell broke loose. The battle begins. Moment the first guard fired, Rick moved. His speed was inhuman. He dodged the energy bolt, closed the distance in 2 steps, and slammed his fist into the guard's chest. The armor shattered like glass. Graf picked up a piece of broken chair and used it like a shield, blocking shots and throwing it at another guard. It hit so hard the alien flew backward. Toma jumped high into the air and landed behind 2 soldiers. His small body moved fast, faster than anyone could track. He disarmed both men and kicked them into the wall. Alira screamed, not in fear, but like a war cry. Her fingers had turned sharp like blades. She slashed through 2 guards, dodging their attacks with perfect timing. The gas meant to stop them was useless. The traps only made them angrier. Kale didn't touch anyone. He stood in the center of the room, closed his eyes, and focused. The lights above began to flicker. The temperature dropped. And then every energy weapon in the room froze. Literally. Ice grew from the barrels, locking the guns and shocking the soldiers. Kale opened his eyes and said one word: "Enough." Counselor Raylan escapes in the chaos. Counselor Raylan escaped through a hidden door behind the council bench. He ran through a private tunnel, breathing hard. He spoke into his communicator. "Activate emergency plan. Send in the purifiers. Destroy everything." From a black hangar deep within the station, large armored machines rolled out. These were no normal soldiers. These were biomechs, part machine, part monster. Built secretly to kill strong life forms. Their only command: erase the humans. Inside the station, the humans moved through the metal halls of the Citadel. Alarms blaring around them, civilians ran in fear. Cameras followed their every step, but Rick and the others didn't attack innocent people. They moved with purpose, searching for the communication tower, where they could send a message to every planet, a message of truth. Illyra led the way. Her new senses could feel vibrations in the floor. She guided them past traps and dead ends. Toma stayed low, scouting ahead. No guard could see him coming. Graf protected the group from behind. His skin had turned like armor, and he stopped every attack with his body. Kale stayed near the center, keeping the tech around them quiet. Lights shut off when he passed. Doors opened. Machines listened to him. And Rick. He led without fear. He had changed more than anyone. His mind was sharper. His strength was beyond limits. But deep inside, something scared him. The more he used his power, the less he felt human. The first purifier attack. They reached a wide hall near the station's power core. Suddenly, the floor shook. A giant metal hand smashed through the wall. The first purifier entered. It was 3 meters tall, glowing red from inside and made from black steel. Its arms ended in spinning blades. Its chest opened, revealing a small pilot inside a brain connected to wires. It roared. Then charged. Rick ran toward it. The others yelled, "No!" But Rick didn't stop. He ducked under the spinning blade, grabbed the arm, and ripped it off. The purifier swung again with its second arm, but Rick jumped and punched straight through its chest, crushing the core. The machine dropped in pieces. More were coming. The second wave. 3 more purifiers appeared at the end of the hall. This time, the team fought together. Graf charged one and blocked its attack, holding it still. Toma climbed onto its back and ripped off cables. Alira attacked from the side, slashing through the pilot's link system. Kale raised both hands and every screen. Wire and battery near them exploded in a blast of EMPA. The purifiers froze shut down and collapsed, but the fight had cost them energy. Toma was bleeding. Alira was tired. Kale looked pale. "We need to finish this fast," Rick said, "before we lose control." The choice. They reached the communication tower. Inside was a control panel, huge, glowing, connected to the Union's entire broadcast network. Rick stood in front of it, staring at the screen. "This is our chance," Graf said. "Tell them what happened." Kale walked up. "There's more," he said. "The station has a self-destruct system. If Rallon activates it, we die, and so does everyone here. Can you stop it?" Alira asked. Kale nodded. "If I connect to the station core, but I'll have to stay linked. I won't be able to leave." "You're not staying," Rick said firmly. "I must. If I don't, they'll erase all data." "No," Rick said. "We do this together." But Kale was already sitting by the panel, wires wrapping around his arms. "Send the message, Rick. Show them who we are." The broadcaster stood before the camera. He didn't smile. He didn't beg. He just told the truth. "We were prisoners, thrown into a death world to die. But we didn't. You used us like trash. You called us weak. But we became stronger than you feared. We are not your monsters. We are your mirror. And we are not alone." The screen went black. And then the galaxy exploded in conversation. Ending. Scene, cliffhanger. As the message spread to every planet, every ship, every outpost, something else woke up. Deep in space, far beyond the Union, another death world stirred. It had seen the message. It remembered the last time beings like this walked the stars, and it whispered in the dark, "They are not finished changing." Back on Citadel Prime, Rick looked at his hands. For the first time, he didn't feel like a man. He felt like something new. And he didn't know if that was good or terrifying. The broadcast echoed through every corner of the Union and beyond. Rick's words rang loud. "We were prisoners, thrown into a death world to die. But we didn't. You used us like trash. You called us weak. But we became stronger than you feared. We are not your monsters. We are your mirror. And we are not alone." Across the Union Council chambers burst into chaos. Leaders shouted at one another. Some denied the message was real. Others demanded immediate action. Counselor Rallon paced angrily. His face was pale. "They have forced our hand," he said. We must act before this rebellion spreads. General Volker, head of Union military, slammed his fist on the table. We should send the fleet. Crush them. Show the galaxy the cost of defiance. A young diplomat, Arya, shook her head. There's more to this than weapons and war. They've changed. We don't know what they are now. Rowland cut her off. They are threats. Monsters who defy natural order. Meanwhile, on the shuttle, Rick, Alira, Graf, Kale, and Toma watched the reactions on their stolen ship. Graf's glowing eyes narrowed. They're scared, he said. More scared than before. Kale, still linked to the station core, looked tired but calm. They will try to hunt us, he said. Not just soldiers, everyone. Toma clenched his fists. Let them come, he said. We're not hiding anymore. Rick nodded double quotes. We fight for all who suffer, not just us. A mysterious signal suddenly. A new message came through the shuttles. Kundad, it was different. Ancient. Almost like a whisper from the stars. The screen flickered. Then a shape appeared. A tall being, shimmering like light and shadow. I am Velen, the being said. Guardian of the old ways, your transformation has awakened forces long forgotten. Be careful. The galaxy is watching and judging. Rick's heart pounded. What do you mean? He asked. Velen's eyes glowed. Your change is both gift and curse. You walk between worlds now. Your survival will reshape the future, but enemies beyond your knowing stir in darkness. The screen went dark. Preparations for war back on Citadel Prime. Union fleets mobilized. Hundreds of ships moved to surround the station and the shuttle. Rowland gave his orders. Destroy the Deathworld survivors. Show no mercy. But not all agreed. Secret group within the council, the Peacekeepers, urged caution. One leader whispered to Arya, there may be hope in these humans. We should learn, not destroy. Arya's eyes softened. We must find out, before it's too late. Rick's resolve. The humans prepared. Alira tested her new powers. She could now manipulate shadows. Moving unseen, Graf's strength grew. He could break steel with his bare hands. Toma's speed and senses were sharper than ever. Rick studied the stars. We can't run, he said. If they want a war, we give them one. Kale disconnected from the station core, but looked weaker. Did what I could, he said. Now it's time to move. The first battle Union fighters attacked as the shuttle neared the outer rim. Lasers flashed. Rick piloted the shuttle with skill beyond experience. Dodging blasts. Toma fired from the rear gun, hitting enemy ships with deadly precision. Alira moved through the shadows inside the shuttle, disabling systems quietly. Graf stood guard, ready to fight any borders. The battle was fierce. The humans were outnumbered, but fought like legends. One by one, enemy ships fell. The aftermath. After the fight, the shuttle landed on a distant moon. The team was exhausted but alive. Kale looked at the sky. The galaxy is watching, he said, and waiting. Rick added, they knew their fight had just begun. Ending scene, cliffhanger, far in the dark reaches of space. Unseen eyes watched the battles. A cold voice whispered, they grow stronger, but so do we. The real war begins now. Rick stood before his team. We became something new on the Deathworld. Now, the galaxy will learn what that means. Toma smiled. Let them come. The shuttle rested on the dark moon, its engines humming softly. The crew tried to catch their breath after the fierce battle, but peace was fragile. Because the enemy was not just outside, that it was inside. Strange behavior. Days after the fight, small changes appeared. Odd glances, whispered words, secret meetings. Rick noticed it first. Graf had become quiet. Too quiet. Alira's eyes sometimes looked distant, like she was somewhere else. Even Toma was acting strange, more aggressive, more restless. Kale warned, the Deathworld changed us, yes, but it also brought something else. Something inside. Rick frowned. What do you mean? Kale looked away. I can feel it. Like a shadow inside our minds. A hidden threat one night. Rick woke suddenly. Someone was near. He caught a figure slipping through the corridors. It was Graf. But Graf was holding a strange device. A small sphere glowing with red light. Graf, what is that? Rick demanded. Graf didn't answer. Instead, his eyes glowed red. He raised the device. And suddenly the walls shook. The device's power. The sphere released a pulse. The whole shuttle trembled. Alarms blared. Alira rushed in. What's happening? Graf's voice was cold, different. The Deathworld's influence is not only outside us. It's inside. It wants control. The sphere's light grew brighter. Kale stepped forward. We need to stop this. But Graf laughed a sound Rick did not recognize. A battle within suddenly. Graf lunged at Rick. The fight was brutal. Rick dodged powerful punches. But Graf was stronger than ever. Alira joined, trying to calm Graf down. Toma, help me. Toma grabbed Graf's arm, but Graf shook them off like they were toys. You are weak, Graf growled. The Deathworld chose me. Rick saw something terrible. Graf was not himself anymore. The truth revealed. Kale connected to the shuttles. Systems. He found hidden code inside the sphere. It's a parasite, Kale said. An alien AI left behind on the Deathworld. It's using Graf as a host. We must remove it, Alira said. But how? Kale looked grave. The only way is to connect with Graf's mind. Fight the AI inside. Inside the mind. Kale prepared. A neural link device. He connected it to Graf's head. Suddenly, his vision blurred. He was inside Graf's mind. A dark place filled with shadows and strange voices. The AI appeared, a cold, glowing figure. Why do you resist? It asked. Kale stood firm. You won't control us. The AI laughed. I am survival. I am evolution. Kale fought, pushing the AI back. Back in reality outside, Rick, Alira, and Toma guarded the link station. Suddenly, alarms screamed again. The shuttle's systems went haywire. Power draining. Alira shouted. We need to hurry, Rick said. Victory and loss after a fierce mental battle. Kale broke the AI's hold. Graf collapsed, breathing hard. He was free, but weak. Rick helped him up. We're not just fighting outside, Rick said. The real war is inside us. A new mission. The crew knew their fight had just begun. They must find others like them. Survivors of Deathworlds. To unite. To stand against the dark forces that hunted them. Toma smiled. We're no longer just humans. We're something new. Rick looked at his friends. And we will fight together. Ending scene. Cliffhanger. Far away, a dark star pulsed. A voice whispered into the void. The Deathworld seed has spread. The evolution is unstoppable. Rick and his team stared at the stars. The galaxy was watching. The war had only just begun. The stars above burned cold and bright. Rick and his team stood together on the bridge of their ship, staring into the vast darkness. They were no longer just survivors. They were warriors. And this was their last battle. The enemy approaches. Reports came fast. Union fleets and mysterious dark ships, those ancient forces Velen warned about, were gathering near a dying star. The final battle is here, Kale said, voice low but steady. Alira clenched her fists. We can't let them destroy what we've become. Toma looked at the weapons, now stronger and sharper in their hands. Graf nodded, still recovering but ready. Rick took a deep breath. We fight not just for us, but for every world that suffers in silence. Preparing the battlefield, they landed on a barren planet near the star. The ground was cracked, the sky red with dust. This would be their battleground. The Union army arrived, and behind them, the dark forces emerged. Strange creatures made of shadow and metal. Rick looked around. They think we're monsters, he said quietly. But monsters fight back. The battle began with thunder, Lasers flashed. Explosions shook the ground. Lyra moved through the smoke, her shadow powers cloaking her. Toma darted between enemies, striking fast and disappearing. Graf smashed enemies with fists of steel. Kale hacked enemy machines, turning them against their own. Rick led the charge, a spear of light in his hand, the turning point as the battle raged. The dark forces summoned a massive creature, a monster born from the void itself. It roared, shaking the sky. The team knew this was their true test. Rick charged at the beast. Lyra and Toma attacked from the sides. Graf held the monster's leg, while Kale hacked its systems. The fight was desperate. Every strike felt like the end. Sacrifice. Kale saw the beast preparing a deadly blast. He shouted, "I'll stop it, get the others out." Before they could argue, he ran to the core of the creature, connecting with his power. He unleashed an EMP that shut the beast down. The blast threw him back hard. Rick caught him. Kale smiled weakly. "This is for the future." Victory with the beast down. The Union forces retreated. The dark ships vanished into space. The battlefield fell silent. Rick looked at his friends. "We won, but at a cost." Lyra knelt by Kale. "We'll honor you." A new beginning. The war was over, but the galaxy had changed. The survivors of Deathworld were no longer outcasts. They were heroes. The Union Council offered peace talks. Rick spoke before the galaxy. "We have been tested. We survived. We changed. Now we will protect all who suffer." Final scene. Under the stars, the team stood. Rick looked at the night sky. "We are not monsters," he said. "We are the future." And as the stars shone brighter, the galaxy began to believe. The end.